branding is not only simple, but I have put together a process that will help any business really get a grasp of branding, and more importantly, make sure that you stand out from the crowd. So these are the 5 steps to go from average to irresistible. Number 1, if you're a small business, you must have a purpose beyond just your profits. You're looking to start a business that you want long term, you want to be proud of, you want your community, your friends, your family to be proud of. So you have to have a purpose for the business and of course the end client in mind. We can talk about Nike, we can talk about Apple, but I'm just gonna give a very random example. Masking tape, blue masking tape. Nobody cares. You'd be like, okay, he's selling blue masking tape. It's not exactly a novelty, but if they package the blue masking tape around the purpose and they say something like, for every masking tape you buy, every blue masking tape you buy, you're saving a dolphin, or you're doing something to help the environment or the oceans, then all of a sudden they can wrap a marketing campaign around that purpose. They can wrap a advertising campaign around that purpose because their brand has a purpose, and the purpose is to save the oceans. So you can buy this blue masking tape. So it's no longer just some 99p blue masking tape. All of a sudden, it's $4.99 for some masking tape. Why? Because you have emotionally connected with your client if you want to run a campaign around this. But what I'm trying to say is that it has a purpose beyond just being some sort of commodity. So whatever you do in your business, think of the actual purpose, and it will absolutely separate you, or be the first step of separation between you and everybody else. The next step is positioning. So positioning is when you put yourself apart in the client's mind. Now, how do you do such a thing? So instead of saying you just do pajamas for everybody, you narrow it down and you say you do 100% cotton pajamas, and it's for heavily pregnant women who suffer with night sweats. You've narrowed it down. You've got your position down. So how does this help make you become irresistible? Well, guess what? If there is a heavily pregnant woman out there who is environmentally conscious and is having issues with night sweats, guess who they're gonna look for? And if they do find you, what are the chances that they buy from you and not anybody else's? You see, all of a sudden you've gone from just, oh, we do nice pajamas with all these fancy colors and whatnot, to specific pajamas for that person. You go from average to becoming irresistible. Now, the next part is personality. Personality is brilliant because it's far easier to inject your personality into your brand than it is to create some whole other personality into the brand. And you kind of have to do this double act where you have to act like a corporate person to the world, but deep down, you're very creative, you're very laid back, you're very easygoing. Now, you just become your own friction. So when you introduce your personality to your brand, if you're funny and outgoing, then put that in your content, put that in your brand, put that in the way you market. Innocent Smoothies is a great way of putting personality into the brand because they have put funny copy on their boxes, their advertising is very charming, and all of that is part of their brand. Now, if you are starting a brand and you're thinking, oh my God, everyone needs to see me as professional and corporate and serious, save yourself the hassle if that's not your personality. Inject your own personality into the brand, and that is one of the best ways to be absolutely unique, because who can be you but you? The fourth step is having a powerful story. You can either create a powerful story or it could be an absolute true story. Now, the reason why I say you can use both is because if you have a rags to riches story, that's brilliant for those who are selling personal services, for those who are selling consulting services. Using your personal story is a brilliant way to pull in your audience, is a brilliant way to communicate with your audience and to separate yourself from somebody else, because of course your story is your story. and your audience will relate to that a lot more. So if you have a great story, pull it in there, communicate it, film it, take pictures around it, and it will help just separate you from the market, because of course your story is unique. Now, as I said, you can fabricate a whole story if you want to in terms of your marketing purposes. Now, last but not least, and I've saved this for last because everybody loves visual expression, the logos, the pictures, the films, the content. Now, the reason why I saved this to last is because if you do the first 4 steps right, then it makes the visual expressions far simpler. All of a sudden, you have gone from creating visual work based on your own preferences, and now you've based it off your actual customer, because you've built a story that relates to them. You've told a story, you've built a purpose, you've put a personality, and all of a sudden you're connecting far more with your audience. So when you are now doing your visual expressions, you know the kind of elements that need to be included that support the purpose, the personality, the positioning, and the story. So now your logo doesn't have to be all that great. Why? Because everything around it, the brand that you've built around it, now allows you to put a more simpler logo that is symbolic of everything else. Now, this doesn't mean you gotta go down the fashion route and just put simple text, but all of a sudden now, when the logo is right, it's right for the right purposes, and not just because it's your preference. Because now you have a whole system, a whole process, a whole bunch of answers that when you put the visual expressions to the world, it relates a whole lot more. So these 5 steps are a brilliant way to separate you from the masses in a systematic way. Now, I've put together a course that goes into far more details of every one of these steps to make sure that you have a brand, whether you started it or not, that is completely separate from the competition. This is blue ocean stuff, completely separate from the competition, and it will take you from being average and a Me Too brand to an absolutely irresistible brand. Click on the link somewhere around you and I'll be waiting for you on the other side.